Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 265. Today we're going to talk about Lords of Vegas. Now this game is a few years old, but it's seeing a little bit of a reprinting nowadays, along with a new expansion called Lords of Vegas Up. Now I had initially played the base game a few years ago, and now the publisher sent me this and the expansion, and I had a chance to actually finally play this with my family, which was actually a blast. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to review the base game, and then I'll follow up with a review of the expansion in a couple of weeks probably. I haven't actually had a chance to play with the expansion, but I'll just figure I never reviewed this, I never owned it, so I figured I'll review this now, and then probably the expansion in a couple of weeks. So anyway, let's take a look at Lords of Vegas. Okay, I've got the game set up like it might be for a 4-player game currently. A couple things that the players are going to get. Each player is going to get these little sort of poker chip looking things in their player color. These are going to be used to keep track of their score on the score track. Now one interesting thing about the score track here is if you look here, you can see some of these actually sort of skip up. So 12, 14, 16, 18, and then as you get higher, they're going to get higher and higher, so now you need to score 3 points to make the jump, whereas at the beginning here, you just kind of need to get 1 point per thing. So I'll explain how scoring is going to work, but an interesting thing is you kind of need to grow bigger and bigger casinos as you score more points. Little piddly casinos will score you points early on, but then you're not going to score any points unless you have, size 2, and then greater and greater casinos as you go up the score track. So that's an interesting sort of mechanic there. The other thing players are going to get, you're going to get these little tiddlywinks here, and then here you can see these are these clear things here. You're going to put these on the board, and you're going to mark different areas. You're also going to get dice here, and these are actually going to be to mark different areas as well. And then players are going to start with a certain amount of this money, which is in paper. It's not too bad. It actually looks nice, kind of like real money, then with different, Vegas personalities on them. Now, the way that you start the game is you're going to be dealt these cards here. So everybody's going to get dealt 2 cards. So let's say these are my 2 cards here, and you can say a couple of things from these cards. First, you're going to learn what your starting money is going to be. So you're going to get $6 plus 7, so you get $13. After the initial deal, you're going to ignore basically these little money icons there. It's just for start money. Then you're also going to get a coordinate here. So you get F2 and C9. And you can see on the board here, if we zoom in, you get F1, F2, F3, C12, all this stuff. So it's going to tell you where to go ahead and mark a lot that you own. So the green player here was dealt F4, so they went ahead and marked that. So everybody's going to start with 2 lots on the board. So after you get your starting money and your starting lots, then play is going to start. Well, the first thing you're going to do every turn is draw a card from the top of the stack. So you're going to draw a card, and it's going to tell you a couple of things. First, it's going to tell the player whose turn it is a new lot that they're going to get. So let's say the green player is going, he gets to mark C12 with one of his little tiddlywinks here, so he gets that lot there. And then this card is also going to tell us to pay out on all of the yellow casinos. So right now there's no casinos on the board. We have these big tiles over there in the corner, so that you can see the different colored casinos are going to match the different colored cards that come up. There's basically 9 tiles each, and also 9 cards for each of the different colors. You can also see up there there's a strip. So there's actually 3 strip cards in there, plus there's a game end card. So this card here is going to be shuffled in. Whenever this card or any of the other strip cards come out, we're going to pay out any casinos that touch the strip. So you can see in here we have the middle row there, the road, that's the strip. So any casinos that butt up against the strip are going to pay out when you draw this card or any of the strip cards. So in this turn we'd pay out yellow casinos, but again, no casinos, but we will pay out based on lots. So anybody that has a lot on the board gets $1 per lot. So it's kind of an early way to generate money, and it kind of keeps you always usually getting at least $1 or 2 every turn if you don't have any casinos that pay out. Now, you're also going to pay out money for yellow casinos, but we don't have any, and you're also going to score yellow casinos. I'll talk about that more in a minute. Now, after we've paid everything out, we're going to be able to start doing actions. So whoever's turn it is can do either build, sprawl, remodel, reorganize, or gamble. Now these first 4 you can do as many times as you want, as often as you want, any order you want, as long as you can afford to pay for them. The gambling you can only do once on your turn. So let's talk a little bit about build first. So if we zoom in here, we can see this sort of D block here. Blue, yellow, and red each have a lot over here. So let's say it was Blue's turn. He wants to build a casino. So he can build where he has a lot marker there. You can see the cost here is 20 million bucks. The cost for yellow would be 12, and then red would be 6. Now the reason that this is 20 million versus 12 and 6, first of all, it's right next to the strip. So that's good. That's a slightly more frequent payout is going to happen for strip casinos. And the 6s are better than, you know, the 1s or the 2s. So let's say Blue wanted to pay 20 million bucks. He'll remove his marker there. He'll put a die there matching whatever the die shown was. So he'll put a 6 on top of there. And then he's going to go over here and he's going to choose which of these different colored casinos there to put on the board. And the reasoning behind what color you may choose is you're going to see how many more turns has it possible that it's going to pay out. So this is a strip one here, so he's got that going for him. And he's also got, noticing here, that gray, we've already drawn 3 gray cards and we haven't even started the game. So gray's only going to pay out 6 more times in the game, whereas purple there is going to pay out 8 more times. So let's say he's going to take purple. So take here a purple tile, he'll put it over his casino there, and then he'll basically own that. Now we've started a purple casino. So that's the build action, pretty simple. So fast forward a couple of turns, Blue has built a 6 and a 3, and now they want to try and sprawl out the casino. So what's going to happen there is if you're the boss of the casino, which basically means you have the highest die of pips. So somebody else may have more dice than you in a casino, but if you have the highest one, in this case a 6, then you're considered the boss, and only the boss can do the sprawl. So for example here, if yellow was inside here, he had a 4, and we had him like that, and then we put this here, then we know that yellow is involved in this casino, but again, they're not the boss because Blue has the 6. And just for edification, if red was actually in here with the 2 and he had a different color here, obviously this is not the same casino because it's not the same color. So if Blue wants to sprawl here, what he can do is he can take and pay double whatever the value is here. So if we go here to the 12, he wanted to sprawl out of the purple casino, he'd have to pay 24 million bucks. So he'd take his purple here, put that like so. That's it, he'll put the 4 on there, and then again he has to pay 24 million. But now he's got a little bit bigger of a casino, you know, he's probably going to get a much larger payout, but that's how you sprawl. Now the thing to keep in mind, once you sprawl, you have the possibility of losing that, because remember, as we draw the cards here and they come up, players are going to be able to start marking the lots here with their tiddlywinks. But if you sprawl into a spot that hasn't yet been drawn, it's feasible that somebody else draws it on their turn and they can go in and just replace your dice. So you're taking a little bit of a chance. It's not something you're going to see happen until you get to the end of the deck there. So the chances are very high that, you know, that tile is going to get drawn if you do it too early. So it's something you got to consider. Now the other thing that you can do is actually remodel. So again, you have to be the boss. So in this case, only Blue could remodel this, which is usually pay $5 per tile. So in this case, it'd be 5, 10, 15, 20. Blue could pay 20 bucks, and then he could take, as long as there was enough tiles left, he could take and maybe turn all those into red. So if you wanted to kind of do that as sort of a merger action to sort of grab, you know, red's tile there, he could pay 20 bucks, chain all those to red, and then all of a sudden, poop, you know, that red tile will now be part of that casino. Finally, you can do a reorganize. Now to do a reorganize, you don't need to be the boss of the casino. You can just have a die in the casino. And the interesting thing about this is you're going to pay $1 per every pip showing on the casino. So as the casino gets bigger, more than likely it's going to be more expensive to reorganize. So if yellow wanted to reorganize this, he could pay 4, 10, 13, 17 bucks to reorganize. What happens when you do that is you take all the dice and then you're going to re-roll them, and then whoever has the highest pip showing is going to win. So if we re-rolled and we saw this, we had 2, 3, 2, and yellow was a 5, then he would now become the boss of the casino. If you got any ties or anything like that, let's say yellow had a 5 and blue also rolled a 5, you'll have a free roll off between them. And again, you can kind of, you know, you can pay again to re-roll. So sometimes you can get a little cheaper deal if, you know, if everything rolls low again. And so it kind of like your lower dice are almost more vulnerable to being reorganized. So in this case, kind of from the previous example, yellow could try to reorganize, and then he could pay 5, 10, 15, 20 to remodel the casino and then take over red. So yellow still has a way to kind of gain control and get more points and money when we score, which I'll talk about in a second, but it's going to cost him a little bit more to do that. Finally, the last action you can do is gamble, and you're going to go basically to a casino where somebody has the boss. So if we look at the previous example, blue was the boss there. So if you wanted to go to that casino, you basically be challenging the blue player. You get to put this card in front of him there, and the rules for gambling are you can pay, you can gamble up to $5 per tile, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So let's say yellow wanted to try to steal away a little bit of money from blue before going in and doing the reorg and the remodel and all that stuff. They could go try to gamble at their casino first to try to jack some money from them, and then use that money against blue. So you can do $5 per tile up to the amount of money that blue has on their person. So if blue only had like 15 bucks here, then you can't obviously go over that. So you can do that, you put that up, and then you're going to roll 2 dice here. So on a 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, then the house or blue would pay yellow whatever he gambles. So if yellow went there and said, I'm going to gamble 15 bucks, I'm just shy a little bit of money to be able to do what I want to do, and then they roll, let's say, a 10, then blue actually has to pay them 15 bucks. Now if they roll 2 or 12, blue has to pay double, so in that case blue would have to pay 30. In that case, it's possible that blue won't have the money, so the rest will get covered by the bank. Now, one variant that we actually like to use is you can actually lay off half the bet. So if you're the house, let's say yellow came in here and said, I'm going to bet 20 bucks, blue maybe has $22 or something, so they're really afraid of getting down to 2 bucks. Then you can say, I'm going to lay off the bet. So that way you only have to pay half if you lose. So yellow's still going to get his 20 bucks if he wins, but 10 of that is actually going to come from the bank. And if the house wins, then they're only going to get half of the money. So it's an interesting way to kind of friendly up the game a little bit with that variant, but we like to use that variant. So those are the 5 different actions you can do. So let's go revisit the scoring now, and now you can see how the payouts are going to work once there's some casinos on the board. So let's take a look here. So we've got this big purple casino here, and let's say we had flopped a purple card or even a strip card, because again, this is touching the strip. So once you flop the purple, again, everybody's going to get paid for their lots that they own, no matter what they are. But let's say this was the only purple casino on the board. Then blue is going to get money for his lots plus 5, 8, 10 bucks. So he's going to get 10 bucks because of all the different pips on there. Yellow's actually going to get $3. But since blue is the boss of the casino, he's actually going to score 1 point for each tile in the casino. So in this case, he would score 4 points. So you do that for all the purple casinos, or if we'd flop the strip card, then you would also do that. If we had flopped the red tiles, and let's say this was the only red casino, then red would get 2 bucks, and then he'd also get a point because it's only 1 tile size. And just to revisit the score track, remember, we're going to get points, 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 and then here you kind of need to have a 2-point score, and that's within a casino. If you score multiple points across casinos, let's say red had 1 casino here and then another 1-point casino there, he's actually not going to be able to jump from 8 to 10 because each of those just scores a point. So he's going to get 1 point, up, hits the wall, 1 point again, up, hits the wall. So once you get here, you need size 2 or greater casinos to be able to move up the track at all. That's very interesting to kind of keep the game and sort of have a little sort of a narrative arc of the game as the casinos get larger and larger and larger. That's pretty much how the game works. The only last thing is that you can do trading, and you can trade pretty much anything in the game except actually moving physical tiles and trading points. You can like pay money to take your die and replace somebody else's die, or swap lots and do all kinds of different stuff. So that can be a part of the game, but that's pretty much all the different mechanics in the game. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the overview. I really have been enjoying this game quite a bit. Like I said, I played it a couple of years ago with my gamer group, and then recently introduced it to the family, and really had a great time with it. I mean, everybody had it plays quickly. The box actually says 60 to 90 minutes, and maybe once you add the 5th and 6th players from the expansion, I would say for sure, or maybe it's kind of your first game, but once you get the hang of the thing, you can play it really quickly. I mean, you flip a card, you do the payouts, everybody kind of totals up their points or money, and then you kind of figure out what you want to do. And it's really neat how the board evolves, how the real estate kind of works, because you really want to be close to the strip, but it's going to be more expensive So it's going to be difficult to do it first because you're not going to be generating that much income. But once you get some more payouts at casinos where you have actually pips showing and not just your lots, then you get a lot more money kind of starting to come in. But it's cool because you can kind of like, ninja in from the sort of the back alleys into the strip by, maybe flipping the colors of your casinos to match the color of the casino next to you, and then you do a reorg roll, and then maybe another reorg roll, and then you remember you can gamble once, per turn. It's kind of funny to gamble against somebody, win the money from them, and then use that money back against them to reorg or flip colors or something like that. So your turns can be very kind of cool. So it's kind of towards a gateway game, but you really kind of need that first play, I think, with a new-ish gamer kind of thing to kind of show them, like, here's all the things you can kind of do, like I just explained with the gambling and the reflip and all that. Because it's kind of a little bit of a chain of events that you can do, and you got to consider how much money it's going to cost. Do I have enough money to try another reorg roll after this one if it fails? And kind of gauging your probabilities versus how many of the different colored cards are left to come out. So that's kind of cool because that has a kind of a stock market kind of thing going on, and I really, I kind of dig that. So it has these elements really kind of at work here. It's got the gambling, which is fun. It's got the kind of stock market thing with the how many cards are left, and kind of which color casino should I be in, because you can have a casino that has been scoring well for you, but you might be saying, well, let me flip the color of this casino and seed these back into the stock, so now I've got enough colors of the other casino type to put my strip casino that's huge, and I can flip the color of that, and then that one will give me a big payout. Because as you kind of score, like I said, you need the bigger casinos to score basically any points at all. So there's some kind of cool manipulation that you can do with that whole aspect of the game. But that whole tinkering thing, that's going to be hard to get, as you start your first play. So I think it'll play will be able to get new players into the game because it's really straightforward and easy once you get the hang of it. So really a fun little game, and like I said, I'll try to do a review of the Up expansion. Basically you can build your casinos up, and it's really expensive to do apparently from reading the rules, but it's kind of a defensive mechanism in a way to keep people from being able to easily flip your casino, if you will. But I gotta say, Mike Slinker, the designer of this, I mean, in the last year I played 3 games from him. I played this one, a Pathfinder adventure card game, and also played a game from him, 12 Days, which is based on 12 Days of Christmas, which is awesome. I haven't reviewed that yet because I'm waiting for Christmas to come around. But I know he's got a couple other games that are escaping me that look cool that I haven't had a chance to play yet. But really, I mean, talk about a wide diversity of games. Lords of Vegas, kind of almost like a Euro game, but it has that real American vibe, that kind of Ameritrash vibe, lots of rolling dice and stuff. It's Vegas, it's got some, you can really be attacking in it. You can say, I'm going to jack that casino from you and just take it. But it's fun, it's cool. That's what Vegas is about in some ways. And, even the reorg is like a gamble. I'm going to reorg, I have 2 dice in this casino, you have 3, I'm going to push it, and gamble. So it's got that kind of jazzy kind of feel to it. It's very fun, vibrant, Vegas-y kind of thing, but it's really kind of a family Euro game under the covers in a way. But that Pathfinder card game, the 12 Days, is a great, sick little drafting filler. Really, I think you can only get it at Amazon's, but anyway. He's really kind of all over the map in a way with the different games than some of the other games I've seen. So definitely, I think an overlooked designer, honestly, because these 3 games, I really like all 3 of these games. And I expect I definitely will like one of his other games. I haven't played it yet, but anyway, so if you haven't played this one yet, I mean, I'm kind of late to the party on this one in terms of reviewing it at least. Totally take a look at it. Try it with a family group of, or just people that don't play a lot of games, and go for it because it's really fun. Okay, thanks.